Oh my gosh, I know what I did wrong. So the box volume I defined as the height times the width times the box height. Well, it turns out the height, see the width and the height, that's the entire dimensions of the paper. Uh, we actually want the box volume to be the height minus 2 times box height times the width minus 2 times the box height times the box height. In other words, the volume of the box isn't that entire length times that entire width times that part. It's just this little piece from the cutout square to the cutout square there times that little piece from the cutout to the cutout times the height, which is that length right there. So this should work. If I click apply, what that's done is redefined my volume to have the correct formula. So this now works, and I can test it out by dragging. Check it out. It looks pretty good. And one thing I'd like to do, just for aesthetic purposes, I'd kind of like to make this graph, how about a little bit thicker? And how about let's give it a little bit of color. That's nice. And then if I click on the point, let's make the point a little bit thicker, just so we can see it. So really this concludes the first part of what we're doing. What I'm going to do next in the next segment of the podcast is start looking at 3D view. And I have about 7 minutes left here before they kick me out of the podcast room, so might as well get started on it. If you go to view and then pick 3D graphics, that'll bring up a third window. Let's kind of resize things a bit here so we have some more space. So in 3D graphics view, I see some things I really don't want here. First of all, I'm really not very interested in having these labeled, these axes. So I can right click on the axes and go to click graphics. And then for the x-axis, let's not see numbers. For the y-axis, let's hide those numbers. The z-axis, let's hide those numbers. And then I really don't want all that shading and stuff either. So you'll notice it says all this stuff's all right. I think I might make the clipping box size large. That just gives us more space to create stuff. I guess all this stuff's okay. If I get rid of lighting, doesn't really do much of anything. Okay, so I guess I'm okay with this for right now. One thing I definitely want to do is I don't want this to appear in the 3D view. This is literally a view of that. So if I right click on that quadrilateral and go to Object Properties and go to Advanced, you'll notice that it's in 3D graphics view. I just want to hide everything that is there. So let's click on things that are in here that I don't want to see, and then I'll uncheck it. It should make these things go away. Just hiding stuff. Notice that when I click on a different object, its object properties automatically appear in the window. We're just going to hide pretty much everything that's in there right now. Let me close this for a little bit. You can, by hitting the shift key and then dragging your mouse, you can move around a bit here. And so I want to hide these. This is not very exciting, but it's good to do. And then let's hide all this stuff. Hide, hide, hide. Let's see if there's anything left that I've forgotten to hide. That looks pretty good. So here's the idea. What we're going to do next is we're going to plot points of the box as 3D points in here. For instance, I can plot the origin as, let's use the point, how about Q? And if you just type in 0, 0, 0, that will be plotted as a point in the 3D view. It's also plotted here. We go to Object Properties. Let's move that out of the Graphics 1 view. You're going to find that you're going to be doing that with a lot of the points, just making sure it only appears in 3D view. And then let's think for a moment. We want the point over here to correspond with the width of the paper. So this is which axis is this? X-axis. So the width of the box is width minus 2 times box height. So I could plot the point width minus 2 times box height, comma, let's see, we're going up 0 and we're going over 0. Let's call this point R. And I don't want that here, so let's go to Object Properties and make that point only appear in the Graphics 3 window. So right now, I have this point and this point of my box. What I'm going to do next is plot point back here, and then use raise to create a top part of the box. We'll do that here in about a minute. It's 6 o'clock, so I am stopping this video at the moment, but that's the idea. We can totally do this.